Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So we're here to talk about Reaper. I know you probably didn't expect us to bring this hero up, as he's kind of faded into obscurity a little bit. Well, that's kind of what we're going to cover. At least with this video, we want to bring the spotlight back onto the edgelord. They used to run the game for a good while. We'll start by covering the history of Reaper, and what made him fall off later on, what position he's currently in now, and what might change soon. Then we'll finish up by looking at some changes, and even some that Blizzard themselves have been experimented with and have addressed in the past. As per usual, we would like your thoughts on this topic, so feel free to make notes as this video is rolling and let us know in the comments below. But anyway, it's time to get started.
To begin with, we are taking a look at Reaper in the past, what made him so incredibly strong for a while, when he dominated, what replaced him, and why he fell off. It all began back in Season 2 when people had really started to grasp the strengths of Ana. Reaper and Ana Ultimate started to be combined, and that combo alone made both characters worth picking up in nearly every match played. Reaper could even shut down Roadhog fairly well, a hero that was back then really starting to rise in pick rate. This stayed the same throughout Season 2, but it was back in mid-November after BlizzCon that Ana was nerfed in an update containing a good chunk of other balance changes. Reaper started to fall off around this time as well. Despite being one of the few characters that has never been changed in the live versions of the game at all, he dropped off in win rate and pick rate as he just simply couldn't kill all of the tanks fast enough that were now so strongly part of the meta. Season 3 was not a good season for Reaper, and Hook 2.0 didn't help either. And at this point we rarely see him played, with mostly Soldier 76 dominating the DPS chart and Reaper's damage not being missed there. Reaper just didn't keep up, and as times changed, Reaper didn't.
This brings us on to Reaper nowadays, and it's not particularly pretty. Reaper has been struggling, especially in the high level of play. He still finds some use in the pro scene to some extent, but he's much more of a niche pick compared to other DPS heroes. His incredible damage up close that was so sought after is just not really as attractive anymore, with other heroes being able to contest and dominate the damage output instead of him. D.Va's buff during the start of the triple tap meta was the main reason that Reaper got really crippled, and it really crippled his ability to do anything in particular. The Ana Nano boost speed nerf also put Reaper in an ill-favoured position when it came to using his ultimate, but it really comes down to mostly Roadhog. Looking at the way that both these heroes play, Roadhog is just a beefier, self-sustaining, kill-confirming, higher damage output version of Reaper, so it really made sense that the Hog would be picked over him. This is more for those triple tank metas, but also we've seen the rise of triple DPS lineups in a more of a dive composition, but the problem with Reaper there is that he doesn't really have the same mobility as Tracer, Genji or Pharah. McCree's much more of a niche pick like Reaper, and Soldier's just good across the board currently. But really Reaper's use has been completely nullified by how strong Roadhog has been for the most part. But if we are expecting a Bastion meta anytime soon, Reaper might be a good option to infiltrate, sneak around and put a lot of damage into Bastion's side, but at this point it remains to be seen.
So what exactly has Blizzard been looking at in the past for Reaper, and do we have any suggestions on how this could be fixed, this situation of Reaper just sort of disappearing? So about what Blizzard have been looking at for Reaper, I want to bring up this Battle.net post that was very popular over the past weekend. It's not really new at all, but it is interesting, and I didn't really see anyone mention this in a YouTube video. Anyway, principal designer Jeff Goodman gives some better insight into the concept of Reaper. In this post that I've screenshotted here, Jeff Goodman explains their philosophy behind the various all-in abilities in Overwatch. These are the abilities that you dedicate a lot to when using them, putting you in a vulnerable spot or just a position where you don't have much of a choice other than to follow through with your initial reaction, which was to activate that ability. Reinhardt Charge and Pharaoh ults put you in these situations, but so does Reaper Wraith form and even his ultimate. People were asking if the Wraith form could be cancelled and if they had considered that ever, and this is when Jeff Goodman goes on to say that they want to keep these risks in the game to not make abilities too consistent. It's part of the act of balancing an Overwatch hero, basically. Whilst I can definitely understand this, you've heard this in this video already, that we believe that Reaper has many more underlying issues that aren't even really being recognized or at least discussed openly right now. So something like cancelling Wraith form, and these more specific changes that would make the hero more consistent, and basically be quality of life changes, this doesn't seem like the only stuff that should be high up on the list, or at least not the only points that should be talked about. At this point we're actually not sure if Blizzard have considered tweaking Reaper's or other heroes' damage values to bring Reaper back into the game, or maybe they should be messing with his Shadow Step and rework that ability. There are some options there. Either way, we'd love to hear what you guys suggest to change and hopefully fix with Reaper as well. Regardless if the dev team reacts or not, it makes for interesting discussion for us, so we do really appreciate comments here.
So that's Reaper and what's happened to him. What will happen next only time can tell, but we're hoping to see him back in the game in not too long. It's nice to see Blizzard being open and talking about the recent discussions, especially with the Reform on the forums, and just having a bit more of an open discussion with how this hero will fare. Balancing tanks versus defense hero seems to be really tricky though, with the damage of Zarya and Roadhog constantly being questioned. We do hope that you've learned something in this video though, and we do want to hear what you guys think as well in the comments below. And if you did like this video, then please drop a like. It really does help out the channel a lot. I know we say that constantly, but it really does. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and subscribe for more Overwatch content if you haven't already. But until next time, take care. We'll see you then.